Hey, Paul. Great to meet you.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
I'm all right, thanks. So we've had a little chat before this, but we just hit record. This is the first time Paul's done anything like this. There's loads of I've done loads of stuff like this before, but this format is different for me too. So we'll get cracking and we'll talk to Paul about him and his journey and stuff, and hopefully you guys will get some tips, hints, and some value from this. So, Paul, tell me something interesting about yourself most people don't know, like a hidden talent or a proud achievement or a funny story or something like that.
Well, for 23 years, I used to spell my own name wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
My middle name is Keith, and I was always taught at school that I before E except after C, and I spelt Keith wrong for 23 years, and my wife thought it was hilarious. She actually wrote into Richard Madeley on BBC Radio 2, and I've actually got a clip of him reading it out about me.
Nice.
It was at the bank filling in some paperwork, and the girl was like, "Oh, that's an unusual way of spelling it," and I was like, "Oh, I think you'll find, sweetheart. I think I know how to spell my own name." And I didn't.
I've been spelling it this way for 23 years.
Yeah.
And like, no, you got it wrong. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. So tell me about yourself. What do you do in real life? What do you do for your side hustle, your online income stream? If you do any investing, tell me a bit about yourself.
So our day job is recruitment. I'm an operations director for a recruitment company. And my side things are, obviously I've got a company set up for Amazon, little bit of eBay, but primarily Amazon. Outside of that, play golf, look after kids, watch football. So
you've got a full-time job.
Yeah.
You've got a family, so family commitments, and you sell mostly predominantly on Amazon on the side.
Yes, that's right.
Would you describe that as a spare time thing or a part-time thing? How long does it take you?
It's more and more. The bigger it gets, it obviously takes more and more time. But from learning and from everything I've been doing and the experiences I've had so far, everything gets streamlined and gets quicker and easier and faster. The more you do it, it becomes habit rather than work. So I think it's only a good couple of hours a week. I think.
Couple of hours a week?
Yeah, mainly. It's not.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So you've already told me this, but how long have you been selling? So you started in March last year, just learning the ropes, didn't you?
Yeah. So I started October 19 buying. I'd watched a few videos, never mind the buy box. Watched all the YouTube videos. Started finding deals and buying them, and they never really did anything with it. I'm naturally a lazy person, I think. So all this stock was building up, and it was the first lockdown where I went to get things from the office to enable me to work from home. And I was like, oh, wow, I need to take some of this stuff home. Filled the car up, brought all my stock home. And then I thought, well, I need to do something with, the wife said, get that shit out of the living room. So I had to clear all the stock out. So I just sent it all in one giant box, sent it all to Amazon, and then within 2 days it had all sold. And I was like, oh, this has got my attention now. And from then on, it was a bit more serious. And then I went full sort of limited company in August 2020. And then since then, it's just been growing and growing and growing and going through the roof for me.
That's awesome. So again, you shared your rough kind of sales figures from August with me. If you're happy to share that with everybody else,
it's since August. At the moment, it's around 70k.
That's amazing.
Sales. So
that's amazing.
But it's the curve is definitely going upwards sharply, which is everything I've learned.
To not really be doing this before then, and to be able to in 2 hours a week be doing 70k sales from August, and it's April. So that's not bad for a couple of hours work a week as a side hustle.
No, not at all.
What buy capital did you start with? Did you start with a lot or a little or what?
It's a lot, a little, should I say? Initially, when I was doing the purchase in October, I didn't really track what I'd spent, but
yeah,
I probably spent 1,500 quid, £2,000 or something like that.
yeah.
And what really sort of kicked it in March was that my job is very heavily biased towards commissions and bonus in my day job. So when first lockdown came down, as a business, we said, right, well, all bonus payments are going to be deferred, which had a big impact. So that's why I then had to start quickly turning the products over and compounding and reinvesting.
So have you taken no money out and you left it all in?
Left it all in, just keep compounding it. As soon as I can get daily disbursement, so I'm drawing down daily, buying as quick as I can, sending it in as quick as I can, and just repeat.
So did you add more capital over time then, or literally
only a small amount? I think total capital, I think, is probably a maximum of 3.5. I think to now.
Wow, that's amazing. So you've turned £3,500 buy capital into £70,000 sales since August.
Yeah.
Which again, it's April the 14th, 2021 at the minute. So that's impressive.
It's just, well, we all know it works. It's just repeating it.
And you're really you're starting to get the compound effect, aren't you?
Yeah. And the more, same as anything, the more you learn, it becomes habit. You just keep repeating what you do anyway, and the results keep coming.
Absolutely. So, in your own words, what are the biggest benefits from this business model for you?
The fact that I'm sitting here in my shorts at my kitchen table, doing my day job. It's not having an impact on my day job. It's not having an impact on the family time or life. And it's there's a lot to learn, and I think every day is still a school day, but it's something that you can repeat and almost do without thinking about it. And when the sort of penny drops, it's like, actually, this is just so easy. I think we generally try and overcomplicate things as people, and if you just stick to the basics and do it well, it just keeps working. So I think the benefit for me is it's not like I've got a second job. It's just a couple of hours here and there.
So do you have the boxes and stuff delivered to your house?
Yeah.
So what do the neighbours think then when you're getting all these boxes every day?
Well, I've got good neighbours, so no one sort of said anything yet. It's been working okay. Yeah.
So do they know that you've got a little side hustle on Amazon, or do they not know?
One of my main neighbour I play golf with, so he sort of knows, but no one sort of pays any attention to it. Even when you try and explain it to people, you can almost see them glazing over, going, "I don't care, Paul. Why are you telling me about this?"
Yeah. No, that's cool. So focused on full-time job. Do you think that one day you would leave your job to do this, or do you think you'd love your job too much and you'd keep both? Or
I think love's a loose word. I enjoy the salary and the benefits and everything else. I don't think I'd do anything without seriously investigating, doing my due diligence on it all, and making sure it all works. It should have to all stack up. But
do you think
if everything did, then yes, I would ultimately want to leave the day job and do this full time.
So do you think if you could replace when you compare 3 grand to 70 grand sales in that short of time, that's amazing. You didn't start with 20 grand. You started with a little bit, and that really proves that pretty much anybody that's got some money can do this. But if you could get to a point whereby you compounded it enough that it was growing, and you could take a wage out of it that replaced your wage, do you think you'd go full time on Amazon?
I think so. I think I'd probably have a figure in mind to say, right, well, when I could do that 6 months consecutively and it's working, and I've seen physically that it's happening, then it's that point.
So just before we move on to some of the tips and tricks and stuff you've learned along the way, I just want to finish off your kind of introduction into you and who you are and stuff with what's your why. Why are you doing this? Because most people do it for freedom, I would imagine. freedom of time, freedom of movement almost, or something freedom related. What's your why?
I've been thinking about that because obviously it's the easiest answer is obviously the money, the freedom, and everything else. But I think the timing of when I really sort of started taking this seriously now, I think it was the initial sort of thing would have been obviously the money and the freedom. But I think lockdown and everything that's happened in the world, this has been a really good distraction for a couple of hours a week, a couple of hours of working, but then checking the app every 2 minutes and hearing the pings and the noises and things. It's a good distraction to what's been happening out there. So I think it's something that occupies me. It's interesting, and as a byproduct, it makes quite a lot of money out of it, which is always a win-win. So I think the why is keeping the old grey matter going, I think.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting.
Does that make sense?
It does. I'm interested in what's your long-term why though. Like, why do you? Is your family your focus, or what do you want?
Long-term stability for the family, financial freedom, and being able to do sort of what you want, when you want, how you want, where you want. That will be the long-term. Yeah,
the usual stuff that everyone strives for. No, that's cool. Do you think maybe that your Amazon journey will get you there one day?
Oh yeah, I've done all the numbers and projected it all out, and if it keeps doing what I'm doing without me breaking it or setting fire to it, I think it should be on track.
That's amazing. Cool. So, talking of your journey so far, so what modules have you focused on? Is it all online arbitrage, or have you?
It's 99% OA. I do a little bit of RA, and that's just more of a bit of fun because there's nothing better than being in the supermarket, being sent for some milk and peaches, and then all of a sudden you find something that's got 200% ROI, and it's like, oh, happy days. But yeah, it's mainly OA.
Yeah, even though I don't actively source right now, I'll often find myself, if I'm in a supermarket waiting in the queue, Holly's doing a thing like whatever, I'll see something on the shelf and I'll have a little scan. I'm like, there's some money in that. I always want to run and tell everybody in the group, like, there's a deal. I'm not buying it, but you should. And then I think, no, because somebody probably has bought that deal and probably going to make money on it, so I'll keep my mouth shut. So yeah, that's cool. So mostly OA. Yeah. So in your journey into OA so far, you must have picked up some lessons either as a beginner or I would say you're more intermediate now for sure. Yeah. But you must have picked up some tips and tricks. And have you got anything you could share? Some lessons you've learned on the journey?
Well, obviously you get the wins. They're not all wins. You get some duffers. But I think the fact that I started with small capital has enabled me to make mistakes, but they've not been costly. So going sort of wide rather than deep, finding what works, and then repeating what works, and don't repeat the stuff that don't work. As obvious as that sort of, and as vague as that is, it's if it works, keep doing more of it, and then just looking at what works, evaluating what you're doing, and always keep looking at other opportunities. It just little things. I mean, I don't know whether this is too specific, but it's like getting a deal and thinking, right, this is a deal, and keep repeating it, and then 2 months later realizing that deal is available at so many other places that you've just never thought to look, and you've just been focusing on that one retailer, and you think, oh, well, now I can get that from 7 retailers at the similar price, and it's more sustainable. It's little things like that you learn.
From a point of view of them not running out of stock, you mean?
Yeah. So like if you buy some boots or whatever, and you're limited to how many you can buy, and you sort of play the game of I'll order a few this week, I'll order a few next week, and then finding out 3 or 4 months down the line that there's all these other places I could have got it from that I've not explored or investigated, that now you've got several sources and you don't have to play the game with these retailers anymore. You can just order from different people.
It's a good tip, really. So yeah, because I remember back in the day, I used to I was buying loads of these. What were they called? There was Bunch of Balloons. You've heard of Bunch of Balloons?
Yeah, that you stick on and all the waterboards blow up. Yeah.
As a kid, I'd have loved that product. They're amazing. You just stick them on the tap, turn it on, and it fills like 100 balloons up or something. I was selling them like hotcakes, and they were going really, really, really well in the summer. Like as many as I could get was selling. But if I remember right, they were selling out. So what you're saying, and I couldn't get any more stock, but I could have sold as many as I could. So I think it's a good tip. In that, look, there's probably other retailers that sell that same product. So even if you've sourced it in one retailer, you can always go look for other retailers. Yeah, that's a good tip. Okay, so what's your best strategy, would you say? What strategy do you use for success?
Well, it's just checking the data. That's the key thing. I know that's the bit I like doing, is sort of seeing the data and not just going on today's price or yesterday's price, and seeing the bigger picture and seeing where the opportunity is that others might be missing. And that's where I've had a lot of the success. So
you said deep diving into the data.
Yes and no. I mean, I'm not saying I spend hours and hours looking at sheets and things, but just, and I suppose it's again something that I've learned over the time of doing it, where you can spot the possible trends in things, and seeing what that does to the prices. I think with being smaller to start with, I was constantly on the app, on the Seller Central app, and looking at where my sales were, what the prices were doing, and very quickly you can spot trends in things. So one of my good sellers at the moment, it goes with a specific retailer. They have this promotion on every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
So I buy it all up when I can, but then I don't do anything with it for another 4 or 5 weeks, and everybody else sells out at the penny pinches. They all go, and then I come back in as the price recovers, and I'm making 3 or 4 times what I would have been if I did it before. And early days, I was one of those people that get it, send it in, all prices drop it, and then you do anything to get a sale. But now you look at it more strategically and think, right, well, I'll hold that for a couple of weeks, because that is going to come back to there, and that then is going to give me a little bit more compounding effect on the overall revenue. And because I've got lots of different products, I've gone wide rather than deep. One might hold for a few weeks, but another one is hitting that point and selling now. So you're not chasing a sale.
I've always said, if you can't be the first person to sell it, you almost want to be the last, don't you? But what you're saying is build a little bit of a lag time or a little bit of a delay into there, knowing that most OA listings, and I know people like to blame deal sheets and stuff, but it's just online arbitrage. The only lever to change anything is price. So it's the one that people press the most.
Yeah.
And so if you can just leave it a little bit and then send your stock in, you don't get hit by any storage fees. You've just got a little bit of a lag. You get higher ROI when it does sell, and there's less competition because the idiots have already had their little scrap and they're out there.
Yeah, and I personally, I love the fact that deal sheets find these deals, because that forces that point quicker. So if there's, for example, if there's 5 people on a listing today and we find a deal and it looks great, a deal sheet puts it out, then there's 30 list sellers, they all drop the price, so then deal sheets stop finding that deal again because it's less than the ROI people want. As soon as people sell out, they don't want to repeat because they think there's no money in it. So it goes to being like a really super fast, quick seller, which increases the BSR, or reduces it, whichever way you look at it. And then by the time your stock hits, then it's a fast seller. Everybody else is selling out. No one's buying more stock because they think it's a low earner. And boom, you're in the right place at the right time.
I love it. I've never looked at it like that, but that's like a silver lining way to look at what some people moan about with deal sheets. Yeah. Absolutely. It's like people like Warren Buffett, these big investors and stuff. They're like, most investors are like, oh, it's going down in price. The shares are going down in price. I'm going to sell. And that's when he's like, oh yeah, what I want to buy is on offer. I'll buy more. Yeah. So that creates that. So you don't mind a listing tanking, because you know that it's going to reduce the BSR, which increases the speed of sales, which means it's going to get more momentum and sell faster. But you're still going to get your profits because you send it in with a little bit of lag time.
Yeah, and all the other sellers won't want to repeat it because they've gone from making £3 a sale to 20p, and they're like, no, there's no money in that. Leave that one alone.
Yeah, you often see it. You often see some sellers like, oh yeah, no point in that, and they're talking about big selling products that a lot of sellers are on. Oh, no point buying that, but yeah, absolutely. No, I love it. Okay, so you talked about data and stuff. What software do you use in your business?
I've got Buybox Pro.
Yeah.
Profit Protector Pro.
Yes.
And then Sunfully.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
So they're the three. I've got all three of those.
So how do you feel about Buybox Pro?
I love it. It's brilliant. It's same as anything. It has the odd glitch here and there every now and again, but it's 99 times out of 100 you use it, it does what you want it to do, and it's brilliant. It can tell me at a glance the stuff I'm looking for first time out, and it's weird because I try to give you something tangible to say I'm looking for X, but I don't know what X is. I just know that when I look at it, it either goes look at me more or pass me by, and at a glance I see it and okay, look at it, work out my numbers, and then it's so easy because Profit Protector Pro is integrated into it. As I've put my order in, I click the details, put my mins and maxes in, click save, it's done. So when the boxes turn up, I ain't going to do all that admin then because I did it all at the sourcing time.
Yeah, so Profit Protector Pro is unique in the way that you use the on. Oh, I don't know. I thought you just paused. Then it's all right. You're back. You use the built-in Chrome extension. Do you use Buybox Pro to do it, or do you use the Profit Protector Pro Chrome extension? I
use Buybox Pro's Chrome extension, the add-on bit for Profit Protector Pro at the bottom.
Yeah. So you set your mins, maxes, and strategies whilst you're sorting it with Buybox Pro. Hit send to PPP, and then Profit Protector Pro is good to go. As soon as it comes into stock, it's repricing.
My default, obviously, Profit Protector Pro, you can set your strategies up and your automatic mins and maxes as to start with. So 95% of everything I'm buying, I just click use my automatic settings, and it does it all for me. So it's like one click. Awesome. It's only if there's something else I spot as I'm looking at the Buybox Pro data where I think, okay, there's a bit more room to move my min up a bit here to make a bit extra revenue. That's the only time I'll do anything manually. Otherwise,
so you'll look at the competitions, for example, and if the competition's only got like one item left, but that's caused a lower price, you'll adjust that upwards.
Yeah, and I'll set that in. I'll manually change my minimum to compensate for that, so I'll make a bit extra out of it. There's no point matching a really low figure if they've got one left and it sells 300 a week.
Absolutely,
you're sort of giving money away, aren't you?
Yeah, but the beauty of it is you do that with Buybox Pro and the built-in Profit Protector Pro thing, so it's all seamless. So I imagine that saves you a lot of time.
Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, it's literally 2-3 clicks of a mouse. So as soon as I've done the bit in Buybox Pro at the top, and I'm thinking, this is a deal. I go online, I purchase it. As soon as I got my confirmation email through, I know it's coming. Save it in Profit Protector Pro on the extension, and again, that's 2 clicks. That's it done. I ain't gonna mess with it anymore.
That's so great to hear. That's exactly how it should work, and how it does work for you. So that's great to hear. So just one more question on that then. What's your favourite strategy in Profit Protector Pro? What do you use?
I use super aggressive, but I have quite a big split between the minimum and maximum. And I don't know what witchcraft or wizardry it uses, but you can see when you look at the sales coming through, it jumps around in that price range. Lovely. So there was one I had a few weeks ago where I can't remember what the product was. Well, for argument's sake, there was about 10 sellers, everyone selling it for a tenner, let's say. I've got my minimum set at sort of £9 and my maximum set at sort of £18, I think it was. The buy box was right down at the bottom. Everyone's on it at that price, and then I started getting sales coming through at 18 quid, which was my maximum. And I was like, I don't know why, because I'm on the little list of sellers. I'm the bottom one, so I'm the most expensive person, but it's pushing sales out. And I'm like, do your wizardry, keep it going. I'm happy with that.
No, that's amazing. Again, that's amazing. So Profit Protector Pro, even though you was like 10th seller, were you like on the list?
Yeah.
The highest price, you were still getting all the sales, which means you were getting the buy box, which people don't understand when they've not used Profit Protector Pro, but that's exactly how it's designed to work. And it's the, like you say, wizardry, magic built into it, which is awesome. I love it.
Yeah. I see that because I check the seller app so often, and I've got my other laptop with some fully on, and that's making my pings in the background. I constantly keep checking because I'm a data person. I just like to see. When you've got a product that's selling like every few minutes, there's a sale coming through, and you can see that there's a difference in price every time. It's like, and it's normally going up. You obviously get some that's coming down, but that's what I've told it to do.
Yeah.
But it keeps giving me a varied price, which is, I mean, when I started this, I used the free one in Amazon, which did its thing, but it did it one way.
Just down.
Only kept going down. Yeah.
So people, obviously, it's free. Amazon's free reprice is free, but I mean, it ends up costing you way more than if you paid for an algorithmic reprice like Profit Protector Pro. That's actually going to make your prices go up. But obviously, from Amazon's point of view and from their customers' point of view, they want rock bottom prices because Amazon get paid regardless of what you sell at. But it comes out of your pocket, and the customer gets a better deal. So I like the sustainability of what Profit Protector Pro creates because you're getting a good price, the customer's getting a price they're happy with, and Amazon are getting their money too. So it's a nice win-win-win. But so just go into the min-max thing that you were talking about. You said you give it a nice wide min-max. Max, so give me an example of that then, because that's interesting to me. How do you set it up?
So I look at the graph in BuyBot Pro, which I think is Keeper's graph, isn't it? Or the data.
BuyBot Pro wholesale purchases data from Keeper to draw their charts. So you don't need Keeper because the data is in BuyBot Pro plus a whole load more. But so you look at the charts,
So look at the charts, and if you're looking at it, it tells you when you can read it, which doesn't take a lot. It looks complicated with all the things and the dots and the triangles and all the colours and everything. But once you've figured out what you're looking at, you can see at a glance what the top price was and what the lower price was. So that to me then is I'm not going to go way above it because you don't want to be getting in trouble for sort of overpricing and things. You don't want to go way under it because you're not going to give it away either. But you can see at a glance your min and max, and if it's a product that's been selling long enough, you can see seasonal trends. So you might think, right, it's at its lowest point now, but in 3 months' time, it's going to go back up again. And you can see that and then factor that in if you do want to change your automatic settings.
So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're repricing products is they'll be like, the current buy box price will be £20, and then they'll set their minimum at $19.99, and it's like that's 1 penny. It's not giving Profit Protector Pro enough wiggle room to do its magic. So you give it a nice wide min and max and put it on progressive dominator strategy and leave it to it.
Because when I read all the descriptions of the strategies on the side, I think I went to start with, I was on sort of like balanced or cautious or something. And one of the guys from the community, Steve Wright, who I talk to quite regularly, gave me a bit of advice on what he does. So I looked, because I thought super aggressive. I thought it's just going to drive it down. It's just going to go to the cheapest price, but it doesn't. I think, I'm assuming it just means it's more active, I suppose is a good way of describing it. So it goes between your mins and maxes a lot more often than what balanced does.
Steve's a top guy. So this is an interesting fact that probably we've not shared anywhere outside the team. But, super aggressive dominator strategy was the one strategy that we said to the devs, just do what you want. Just go make an algorithmic strategy and do what you want. The others, we were like, we need one that's going to do this. We need one that's going to do that. That one was devs get on with it, and that's why it came back. And it's in feedback, and from what like you just said and what most people say, that seems to be the favourite of the moment. It seems to be the one that's really delivering the best results.
I think from like I've said before, just constantly being on the app and seeing what you're doing. I think for me, I can see that it's changed the price lots regularly, up and down, mixing it around, mixing it up. Yeah. Whereas on the more balanced ones, because it's trying to do what you've told it to do, it's trying to be more cautious with it all. So you don't see that movement so much, whereas you do on that one. So yeah, it works and it's doing its business.
Love it, love it, love it. So before we move on to my random chat topics, because I've got a few random chat topics. Number one tip then, overall, if you could give us your best tip you picked up in your journey so far. I know you've said wide and not deep and all that stuff. Is there one thing that jumps out? I know it's hard to put you on the spot, but
I suppose, I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So having more capital and having all these tools and everything at the start would have been amazing. But I think the one thing I would have said to myself back in August would have been, just go for it, just jump in. Not heavy with buying loads and loads of stuff, but if something looks good and you've had a quick look and you've done what you think is best due diligence wise, just buy one, buy two, buy three, and send them in, and you'll be so surprised how they sell. And that's the thing I've learned more now, and I keep learning every day, is if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So
do you have like a maximum amount of stock you're purchasing any one item then? Do you have a physical idea, like 10 units or something like that?
No, I use the data from Billboard Pro. So if it says it sells 500 a month and there's 5 sellers on, I'm going to potentially get 80 to 100 sales a month if I'm competitive. So that's the sort of stock I'm looking at.
Okay. So what units you bought of any one ace in then?
Oh, in one hit. It's all retailer dependent as well, isn't it? Of getting blocked. I think there's a lot of sort of 40s and 50s I put through, but I generally, on those, I sort of try and do 40 or 50 every day to keep it coming in. So nice. The one biggest frustration for me is that they don't all just let you buy as much as you want, which would be amazing.
Yeah, like boots. Like, you trying to buy 3 items, and you're like, what's wrong with your boots? They want to make money. But Toys R Us, I can't remember, but I think maybe Toys R Us was like that back in the day. And look where Toys R Us are. I just don't know what's wrong with these companies. Somebody wants to buy your product at the price you want to sell it at, just sell it to them. Do you know what I mean?
I get a lot of these promotions, and because most of the deals are going to come from some form of offer or promotion, generally speaking. I think a lot of them run them as almost lost leaders, don't they, to get you in and get you buying something. Okay. So I suppose if they're just selling everything, they're not making any money on. They're not going to make any money, but they're going to sell a lot of stuff, aren't they? So
yes, but I think they should physically put on the thing that this is limited to 3 per.
Yeah, that would make
it. Tell you.
That would make it far easier than letting you check out, letting you pay for it, and then sending you an email an hour later saying, we've cancelled this and we're going to keep your money for 30 days.
So okay then. I did have a couple of more things I wanted to ask you before the random chit-chat questions. But so do you have a minimum ROI that you sort of?
No, I have sort of ideals. Again, it's in my head, I'm weighing up, right, how quickly is it going to sell? How easy is it going to be for me to get it? What sort of prep and stuff do I need to do? And it's things like that I'm doing a very quick thought process in my head with, and it's a yes or a no. There's some deals that I could get and repeat quite easily, but they take a fair bit more prep than I want to be doing. Again, naturally a lazy person, so they more move to the back burner, and the easier ones are the ones that I focus on.
I can just imagine you in your job interview, like, so tell me about yourself, Paul. Oh, I'm a naturally lazy person.
Well, I can't remember, is it Bill Gates or someone that there's a quote about he'd hire someone that could find the easiest way of doing something because they'll look at things differently to other people or something.
All right. Yeah, sounds like something Elon Musk or someone would say.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think lazy is the wrong way of it, but I like an easier, repeatable process.
Of course. So a question that came into mind, so I typed it as you were talking. Biggest challenges. So what's your biggest challenges so far?
It's been getting volume of stock and getting it in, and that's without investing more capital in.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's if I had, because if you asked me in August, if you said, right, you'd be spending £1,000 a day online buying stuff, I'd say, well, I can't find £1,000 worth of stuff to buy. Now it's like, give me £10,000 and I can spend it in a day.
Yeah. Is it like shooting a fish in a barrel right now? Then deals everywhere, is it?
They are, but I think it's just that it's like everything. It just becomes easier. It becomes I don't like this. I find deals and I don't know why I found them, but it's some like 6 cents or whatever you want to call it. Goes, look at that. That looks. And I suppose it's when you're looking at that data so much in the BuyBot Pro window, and you're looking at that all the time, and then you see things that there's the window. That's what I'm going at.
Yeah. So how do you find most of your deals?
Most of it over time, I've used a number of different deal sheets, deal services, and then you generally find similar products. So you might get a deal sheet for, I don't know, cost of coffee cups, and then all of a sudden, from where you buy these from, they sell Nero coffee cups and Starbucks coffee cups.
So
and you
go down a rabbit hole. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry.
And it's things like that, different flavors of the same thing, different sizes of the same thing, and then all of a sudden you might have had sort of 5 deals on a deal sheet that's turned into 20 deals, and some of them you're ahead of the curve, some of them you're further down the line and can jump in at the back end.
Okay, cool. So random chit chat subjects.
Yeah.
We take two random. But if you had £100,000 right now spare to invest in your business or elsewhere, it don't have to be your Amazon business, wherever. But if you had £100,000 just sat there, but you've got to do something with it, and you can't buy a Ferrari or whatever, where would you invest it?
I think at the moment where mine is, I think it'd be stock, but then I'd think, well, that's a lot of stock turning up. She's not going to be happy when all that turns up at the front door. So then I think you'd have to factor in some kind of unit, some premises, some staff or something to manage it. But I think
straight back,
it goes straight into stock, because and if the system works and you get winners and you keep repeating what you've done well, that £100,000 in 2 or 3 months' time is going to be £300,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compound super easy.
Yeah, so yeah, I know you joke about all the boxes and stuff, and your partner not being too impressed with you, but I got that firsthand myself. But yeah. I suppose the beauty of Amazon is the boxes don't have to stay for long, even if you're self-prepping straight to Amazon on their shelves, and that's the beauty of it. So yeah, private jet or a super yacht, if you could.
Ooh, super yacht, I think.
Super yacht, I'm the same. I think I'm a super yacht kind of guy as well. If you could go for a drink with any person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. I thought of sort of famous footballers, so Kenny Dalglish maybe, Kenny, or someone like Muhammad Ali, something like that.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So, what should I ask you about that I didn't think to ask? That's a tough one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
When we're interviewing staff, often one of the questions I'll ask them is I'll say, if you were me interviewing you, what should I ask you? And then they tell me the question that I ask them, and then I ask it them, and they hate it, but they do it every time.
I don't know. I think we've covered a lot. It's just
no worries.
I mean, the systems and software I've got. I mean, I'm Nottingham based, so technically I'm Midlands, not Northerner, but I'm quite tight. So initially, when I first started out, I was looking at the cost of things. Oh, I've got to get that, and then I've just done it, and obviously Project Pro tells you how much extra profit it's making you and generating you, and it's paid for itself and BuyBot Pro for the rest of the year already. It's.
Well, that figure, that profit boost in Profit Protector Pro is actually, it's not the profit you've made that you would have made. It's the profit that the algorithms made you on top of that. Yeah. So I don't know if that's dead obvious to people, but that's what it is. That's the extra that PPP.
Yeah. And I mean, it's more than covered both of them this year, probably the next 3 years for both of them already. And
That's cool.
it goes up every month, and it's quite cool when you log in and you see that. You're like, oh, yeah.
And when you've been watching the prices do what they do, like you said with the example earlier, you're the most expensive seller on the listing.
Yeah.
You're making all the sales at the highest price. You can see that actually that profit boost is a genuine thing. Obviously, it's kind of like a very solid guesstimate, but you can see when you look at the pricing history, it's a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I do as well is with Sunfully. At the end, if I've got a product that's not instantly jumping out as right, I need to repeat that one. I'll go on Sunfully, I'll search for the sales for that one, and I'll just quickly look. It puts them all the sales together, and I just quickly look. And when you look at that, and you're looking at pages of the same item, you can see all the different price points, and you're like, oh yeah, that actually was better than I thought it was. I need to repeat that one.
So you're looking at those sales happening and the prices going up in Sunfully rather than in the pricing history of PPP.
Yeah. And I use both ends of it. So Sunfully physically shows me what it's sold for, when it's sold, and obviously you get all the different bits of data on there as well for price, ROI, everything else.
You're going to love it soon, Paul. You're going to love it soon. Profit Protector Pro is being built into Sunfully. So you'll be able to literally click on a tab in Sunfully and be able to change everything in Sunfully.
Brilliant.
So
the only other thing you need to do is get the count from Sesame Street. That's what the noise needs to be. One, ha 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 ha. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe we can make it so that you can load up custom sounds or something.
Yeah.
Yourself. That'd be good. So you're obviously, I've not mentioned Sunfully because it's still in beta. You're one of the very few beta testers, are you? So how are you finding it? How are you finding the evolution of Sunfully so far?
It's brilliant. It taps into my data geek, and I just love to be able to look at stuff, and finding the relevant reports on Amazon is you need some kind of degree to get through everything and see what everything means. Whereas that I can just put in an ASIN or choose a product that I've got listed and see my personal sales history for it. And that's my graph. And then almost like what I sort of alluded to earlier, I'm almost forgetting what all the other sellers are doing and thinking, right, this is what it's done for me. It's actually done it. So it's not what it might do. It's done it.
Yeah.
And then if it does it consistently, I can look at that and go, yeah, that's a winner for me. Or I could be getting that a little bit cheaper there, or putting that price to there. And I've had some ASINs where I've been selling them since August, some of my very first products that I keep buying now. And even though I use the Buyback Pro, then I use the Profit Protector Pro, it's Sunfully where I'm spotting other bits where I'm going, actually, I could nudge my min up 50p, and I'm still going to get consistent sales.
Love it.
And I adjust my figures based on that data. Because it's all in one place as well, it all ties into one another.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's only going to get more integrated with time. So that's good to hear. So if you could have a massive billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why? So this is not an Amazon question. This is you can make it whatever you want, a message you want the world to read. What would your billboard say?
That's
difficult.
A tricky one, yeah. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I'm doing.
No, that's fine. These are just random questions anyway. So if you could turn back time and go back to being 21, what would you tell your 21-year-old version of yourself?
21, I'd say buy all the shares in Tesla you could ever get your hands on.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin and everything else.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you just go back and give yourself share tips.
Yeah.
No, you know what, Paul? It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed this. Yeah. That's it. Was it painful or was it painless?
It was good. It was painless actually. Going through, it was just a chat, really, isn't it?
It's just a chat, but you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's been great. So
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, it's been great to chat to you. I've never spoken to you like this before, so it's been great to meet another seller and part of the community and one of our customers and stuff. It's really great to meet and chat to you. And yeah, I just want to say thanks for jumping on this. and sharing some of your journey. Maybe it'll inspire other people to start the journey. Maybe it'll show people that are on the fence and go, you know what, it's working for Paul. I can see that he's genuine, like it's from the heart. You know what, I'm going to give this a shot, and maybe they'll change their lives like clearly you are doing by building this thing. So is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I'd just say if anyone out there is thinking of doing it, do it. The one thing that sort of delayed me a little bit, you watch all these YouTube videos and all these so-called gurus out there with Lamborghinis and everything else, and the natural sort of cynic in me goes, yeah, they're selling me something. They're trying to get me to sign up to some program or something. Whereas this stuff works. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I remember sitting in a Costa Coffee with somebody so skeptical. He'd been in the education industry his whole life as a teacher / lecturer thing. And he's so skeptical on it all. But I told him it all, and now he loves it. He believes in it. He's been doing it years, making good money at it. But I think sometimes it just, when you see all these kind of, and I don't want to bash gurus. I'm not here to bash anyone. I'm not that guy. But when you see these kind of Lambo gurus selling rubbish, like overpriced courses, and I'm not anti-course. I think there's great value in the right course. But you see it, or you start to get very skeptical very quick. But this is one of those businesses whereby it's Amazon, which sell a bunch of stuff. You can get software and tools to tell you what's selling and what you can sell and all that stuff. So I always just say to people, if other people are doing it, like you, Paul, or like thousands of others in the community, if they're doing it, well, why can't you? And the truth is you can, you just got to take that step. Now, Paul, you've been epic. It's been amazing. Really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for joining me. I know it's a scary process, put yourself on camera, but I think you'll agree it's not that scary when you do it.
No, it's not. You're talking about what you do, isn't it? So it's relatively straightforward.
So, yeah, thanks ever so much, buddy. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.